Looking for the Zone prize rules? Would you like to apply for a job at the Zone? Or need a phone number or email for the Zone? Visit zone1150.com. Would you like to sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter? Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louis Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Or would you like to see the Zone's daily schedule? Visit zone1150.com for more information, any questions, to contact us for everything and anything about the Zone. Visit zone1150.com.
How can your business reach homeowners or buyers in the Brazos Valley? Reserve your spot in the Parade of Homes Spring and Fall 2023 issues. Even better, Bryan Broadcasting has 11 radio stations, 8 print publications, and millions of visitors and page views on our Bryan Broadcasting website, helping you reach your target audience through outlets the Brazos Valley knows, trusts, and visits every day. Contact Dave Marsh for your placement today, 979-695-9595, or Dave at bryanbroadcasting.com.
Over 50,000 police officers are assaulted on the job each year, leading to injuries and death. This is the reality they deal with when making contact with the public. Another reality is that if someone doesn't comply with a lawful order or uses force against them, police may have to use sufficient force in response to obtain compliance. Use of force is always ugly. Nobody likes it, especially police, and nobody knows how it will turn out. Spread the word. For de-escalation to work, both parties must de-escalate. And de-escalation isn't necessary if there is no escalation. Help police by not escalating. Don't attack or try to disarm an officer, whether it's getting asked a question, getting a citation, or getting arrested. Don't argue, don't resist, don't flee. After the encounter has been resolved is the time to address any complaints. Comply now, complain later. Keep everybody safe. This message brought to you by the National Police Association. To learn more about how to help law enforcement accomplish its goals, visit nationalpolice.org.
In today's economy, it's just as common for companies to merge and go out of business as it is for workers to change jobs. As a result, retirement plans can be left behind, lost, or forgotten about until it's time for workers to retire. Even in the best of circumstances, workers can have questions about or problems with their retirement plans, but not know where to turn for help. That's where Pension Help America comes in. Found online at pensionhelp.org, Pension Help America connects Americans to resources that can help them find answers to questions about their retirement plans. By guiding you through a simple series of questions, Pension Help America will put you on the path to finding the help you need. Pension Help America is a website of the Pension Rights Center, a nonprofit consumer organization dedicated to protecting and promoting the retirement security of American workers, retirees, and their families. If you have a question about your retirement plan, visit pensionhelp.org. That's pensionhelp.org. A public service message from the Pension Rights Center.
To find the complete list of prize contest rules for the Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM, visit zone1150.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Bryan police has identified the bicyclist who was killed Sunday after being struck by a vehicle that was involved in a collision near Bryan High School. 68-year-old Johnny Mary Walton of Bryan was waiting to cross 29th and Barrick when they were struck. BPD ticketed the driver of a white pickup truck for failing to yield the right-of-way while making a left turn. The collision involved the white and a silver pickup truck. The bicyclist was struck by the silver truck. Last Thursday, during the midnight hour, a two-vehicle crash closed Harvey Road near Veterans Park. Yesterday, College Station police released the name of the driver who was killed. Investigators continue to look into the collision that took the life of 35-year-old Amadeo Hernandez Vasquez of College Station. The city of College Station has notified the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality about last week's oil spill in Wolfpen Creek. City officials tell WTAW News an estimated 20 to 30 gallons of motor oil from a spill at an auto repair shop landed in the creek after mixing with water from an apartment complex. College Station police arrest a Temple man after finding illegal drugs in his apartment last December. CSPD arrest reports accuse 19-year-old Tyler Sears of selling marijuana, THC bars, and mushrooms near Wolfpen Creek Park, which is a drug-free zone. The College Station ISD School Board decides to protest property values as determined by the State Comptroller's Office.
So apparently our local appraisal district didn't assign high enough values.
That's correct.
As according to the Comptroller's Office
study.
Superintendent Mike Martindale and Chief Financial Officer Amy Draws believe the Comptroller providing higher numbers is a trend around the state.
If those higher assigned local values from the Comptroller's standpoint, you would receive less state funding.
Correct.
That's correct?
Correct.
The CSISD board agreed to let the Brazos Central Appraisal District, which came up with the local valuation numbers, file the protest. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Finding and buying your dream home creates a special kind of excitement, and Lone Star Realty Group is ready to help you experience that excitement. At Lone Star, every client is a priority, and every client is treated like family. They combine cutting-edge technology from Compass with a hometown touch to provide a concierge experience like no other in the Brazos Valley. Whether you're buying or selling, you'll get the help you need from Lone Star Realty Group. Experience, integrity, results. Click LoneStarBCS.com.
Dive in for a fantastic spring break at Moody Gardens. Explore fact and fiction at the new Sharks in Depth exhibit. Come face to face with real sharks, penguins, seals, and more at the Aquarium Pyramid. Check out the strangest and most spectacular in Secrets of the Sea 3D and Shark 4D. Enjoy an afternoon cruise, island golf at one of the top public golf courses in Texas, or relax poolside at the beautiful Moody Gardens Hotel. Save with a value pass in Moody Gardens Hotel and golf packages. Online always, the best deals are at moodygardens.org.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Sean Burnett with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This update is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hillcosupply.com. Aggie baseball will look to bounce back from a tough weekend series versus Portland as they take on Houston Christian tonight. After dropping the first two games of the series versus Portland, the guys got the win on Sunday with a walk-off in the ninth inning. You can listen to that game tonight at 6 o'clock on The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. A&M men's basketball now looks to a matchup with Ole Miss tonight as the guys saw their win streak come to an end on Saturday, falling to Mississippi State 69-62. Ole Miss recently fired head coach Kermit Davis. He's replaced by interim coach Win Case. You can listen to the game tonight at 8 o'clock on 1620 94.5 WTAW. Aggie women's basketball heads to South Carolina for the SEC tournament this week. The women enter as the 13th seed and will take on Vanderbilt at 10 a.m. tomorrow. You can listen on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Aggie softball has the University of Houston coming to town tomorrow for a midweek game. The game will start at 6 o'clock, and you can listen on Gospel 97.3. The number 10 Texas A&M women's golf team was led by Zoe Slaughter through the first two rounds of the Icon Invitational, who shot a program record through 36 holes, 14 under, 130 at the Golf Club of Houston on Monday. The women sit in first place, one shot ahead of Iowa State. And the number 15 Aggie men's golf team is in action at the Southern Highlands Collegiate. After two rounds, the team is in 8th place. And that's your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Sean Burnett.
On Sports Talk, I recently visited with actor Corbin Burnson about a new documentary, Journey of Faith, filmed in the small town of Kipling, Saskatchewan, Canada.
I fell so in love with this town. I wrote a movie for the town that they funded, and everybody in the movie was from the town. And
Sports Talk, spanning the globe to bring you interesting stuff. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on The Zone.
If I'm going to do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble!
Howdy, Aggieland. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bull crap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio. Right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
Hey, hit records on my demo. Did y'all boys not get the memo?
Well, hello. Good morning, everybody. It is a game day. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Our Time. Warehouse by CC Creations is our presenting sponsor for the next 60 minutes. And Olin Buchanan with us, as he always is, to start off the show. Good morning, OB.
It is a good morning. It's a good morning to get ready for to anticipate a basketball game tonight that I think A&M is going to bounce back and win, like they've done the last two times they've lost, or the previous two times they've lost in SEC play, and clinch that number 2 seed in the SEC tournament.
So I did not know when I made the rundown yesterday and this morning, I did not know that you and Buzz had spoken about one of our talking points, which makes total sense. But I guess one of the things that came out of yesterday's conversation was what A&M has done after losses. And I wrote some of those notes down afterward because, at least in SEC play, because, yes, in the non-conference they had a couple of back-to-back losses that happened early on in that tournament, and it happened right around the Wofford game, the game before Wofford.
I think Memphis and Wofford.
Yeah, Memphis and Wofford, right?
Losses.
So I have what they've done because, hey, if you guys didn't know, they lost to Mississippi State over the weekend. And because I usually think of terror and panic when the team that I care about loses, here's a little bit of recent history. After A&M lost to Kentucky, they lost 76-67. They went on the road, and they took it to Auburn.
Just owned them. Boots ran for 31 points.
We could use a Boots performance tonight, couldn't we?
Boots bounce back.
He will. And then after a loss to Arkansas, that was the travel game with the weather and yada, yada, yada. They put one on Georgia 82-57.
Just blew them out of Reed Arena.
So under that thinking, which doesn't mean anything, but because I think of this team as that kind of team, they can go to Ole Miss and take care of business and then make that Alabama game mean something just for your resume
right.
if Bama takes care of business tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think Bama's going to beat Auburn, even though I know it's a big rival game, so you got to factor the possibility of an upset in there, especially when you consider that Alabama has just barely gotten by in its last 2 games against South Carolina, winning overtime, and then I think they had to come back against Arkansas, 2 real close wins. So they've been vulnerable, but they, good teams find a way, right? So I expect them to beat Auburn, and that game at Reed on Saturday probably will not be played with at least a share of the conference championship on the line. But like you just mentioned, they can enhance their resume. Maybe if they're looked at as a 7 seed, maybe they become a 6.
I don't want to be an 8 seed or a 9 seed. I don't. I know it shouldn't matter because the way this team plays, I'd rather not take on a 1 seed in the second round.
Well, yeah, I always want to be the best seed I can possibly be.
Yeah.
But the way this season has gone and the way they were 6-5 on December 21st, being in the tournament is just remarkable.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I'm with you. I'd like to see to get the highest seed available. And, see if you can't get that win. If you can, it just gives you even more confidence of what can be done. But it all starts with beating Ole Miss tonight. And again, I think the thing that's always been the greatest strength, the greatest asset on this team is its ability to focus on the next game, completely focus on the next game.
Yeah.
So they know Alabama's next, but I have no doubt in my mind. But I have no doubt in my mind they're focused on Ole Miss, and the fact that they lost to Mississippi State probably underscores that they're focused on Ole Miss. I'm kind of surprised they even came back from Mississippi. And you played on Saturday and then again on Tuesday.
I heard Billy talk a little bit about it, and I think Buzz even mentioned it yesterday, just for the routine, Buzz being such a creature of habit.
Yeah.
And also, how long is that flight? An hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes maybe? Maybe an hour and a half. It's easy. It's easy travel. But yeah, no, bottom line is I want A&M to control what they can control, right? So don't even think about the Bama-Auburn game and what that could mean on Saturday, depending on what happens on Wednesday for those two teams. Win this game. Put yourself in position to have a chance. And if that chance is taken away, put yourself in position to enhance your resume and beat a team that's been the number 1 team in the country for several weeks this season.
Absolutely. And make those tournament people go, oh, wait.
They are real.
Now they've beaten Auburn twice. They've beaten, you go down the list. They've beaten Florida, I think, when Florida was ranked. Missouri, when I know Missouri was ranked.
Yep.
Arkansas, you go down the list. And then Tennessee, and now Alabama. Dang. Maybe we got to start thinking about these guys as a 5.
That's right. That I would be very cool with. So what do you want to see from them tonight? Because I think with Ole Miss, obviously, one of those inferior opponents, if you will, who changed coaches. They played their best game of SEC play just last game. They got a victory. But again, they don't score very much. Their defense is
Yeah, that's the difference as much as anything between them and Mississippi State, because Mississippi State doesn't score very much, but their defense is really good.
Defense is solid.
So, I want to see A&M play a typical A&M game. Play really good defense, get to the line a lot, even more than I think it was, what were they, 20 of 26 against Mississippi? But so much of those were late while you're trying to come back. And here's what I want to see most of all. I want to see them avoid an extended stretch without field goals or scoring.
Yes.
Now, I think that 13-minute drought is probably like a once in a hopefully like a once in a decade time. 13 minutes without a field goal is just mind-boggling.
Yep.
So, sometimes you're going to go 2 or 3 minutes without a field goal, and sometimes without scoring, but, just make that an isolated thing if it comes to that, and just be consistent in who you are.
Are you you're aware that A&M baseball plays tonight against Houston Christian, correct?
I do. Used to be Houston Baptist, but now it's Houston Christian.
Are you aware who their coach is?
At Houston, is that Lance Berkman?
It is Lance Berkman.
Yeah.
Would you like to see Lance Berkman's most recent television outing?
Yeah, let's see it.
Let's cue up the tape right here. This was Houston Christian against Seton Hall, I believe it was. Anna Rosa was, she's good friends with the family, so she was sending me this information. There's Lance upset with a call, and he gets tossed, and he's going to have some more theatrics for you. He's letting him know how he feels about it. Lance is a very funny guy who does have a bit of a temper, but I'd say 80% of the time he's jolly, if that's the right way to phrase it, at least in my encounters with him. And he's not done yet. He's going to make sure that they know that he's disappointed with the call because Houston Christian has not won a game yet, and there goes the hat into the crowd. And Anna Rosa tells me he will not be allowed to be here today. I forget what the baseball rule is. I'm sure Richard's probably listening. He can text me because I know Schloss was tossed Saturday, was it? But he was back. Maybe it was Friday. Was it Saturday? Friday. Whenever it was.
I thought it was Saturday.
Saturday. Regardless, it looks like Lance Berkman won't be able to coach today, and Anna Rosa joked that he may dress up and show up in the stands, but he's not going to be coaching, according to somebody close to the family.
I hate that.
Yeah, I like Lance.
I do, and you miss a game because you get thrown out for yelling. I mean, at an umpire.
Well, the umpire, and he let them all know how he felt about it. And Lance is not one to use, foul language. So
I am, and I think that's a bunch of crap that they. Well, I understand sportsmanship is important.
Yep,
and you want to set an example, but gosh, isn't being kicked out of the game enough? Now, was that at the end of the game?
That I don't know. So are you familiar with Jason Tatum? He plays for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, the guard.
He's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
He got tossed, I believe, yesterday, and he thought the officiating, well, what he said was, I told the official, you're doing a great job. This is the best officiated game I've ever seen, and that got him tossed. Because they knew he didn't really mean it. And he's like, I can't give him a compliment, and I get tossed?
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, you should have to really cross the line in a big way to get tossed.
Like, what if you stare him down?
That shouldn't get you tossed. If you're the official, why are you aware they're staring you down?
Mm-hmm. Now,
there's certain words that are going to get you tossed. I get it. They're usually compound words. Sometimes, man, I've got a cough. I'm suffering from this cough. I'm a cough sufferer. Anything that sounds like that might get you tossed.
Yeah.
Anything that brings up someone's parents might get you tossed. Okay. But beyond that, or making physical contact, because you're being sarcastic, be the official and just walk away. No one's there to watch you officiate.
Yeah.
That's just my take on it.
I agree. Lance, we wish you could be here. All right, let's do this. Let's go around the room and say hello. But first off, the A&B text line is open for you, 979-693-1150. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas Banking is the website. You can call us up on that same number as well, 979-693-1150. Nick Savage, good morning, sir.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
What's going on with you?
That game was in Sugar Land, if you couldn't tell. That was at the Space Cowboys ballpark, but
they're still the Skeeters to me.
Well, yeah. Anyways, that video kind of got me thinking. How many ejections do y'all think we'll see this year due to I mean, I know the pitch clock and all that stuff is pretty cut and dry, but how many ejections or arguments you think we'll see when it comes to oh, you didn't, you started the clock too early or this or that? What do y'all think about that?
I don't even know how to come up with
Are you talking about in all of college baseball?
Yeah, just college baseball. I mean, I don't know if
13, Nick. I'm going with 13.
Okay.
OB?
Sorry, dumb question. Move on.
Just give a number. Just to do it.
100.
100 to 13. I think I'm going to win.
I think you're probably.
I think I'm too. All right. Anything else, Nick?
No, I don't want to talk anymore.
No,
y'all have embarrassed me,
Nick.
So we're moving on.
I got a question for you. So seriously, how many chairs do you think we have in this building?
In this building? Yeah. I don't know.
These are good questions.
2, 4, 6
in the whole building.
4 in there. That's 10.
Don't count. Just say
25.
How many trees do you think are around the campus? Nick?
I see what you're doing here.
Let's go to the News and Social Center. How many times, Eric, do you think you have run 5 miles or more? Eric Assar's at the News and Social Center.
You always ask Nick and I questions that we can't answer. That we can't answer right. You're always going to win.
Yeah, that's called life. So deal with it, buddy.
If I had to guess, over, under, I'd say over 100.
I wasn't really asking. I was just being silly. But thank you. Thank you for the great answer,
Of
Nick.
course, of course.
I just called you
In
Nick.
a year, how many miles will you run?
Yeah, see, I don't know. I could not tell you that.
You have Strava or an app or something. It
No,
tells you.
Okay. I'm actually anti-Strava. I do not like Strava.
Because you don't want people knowing how fast you are?
Well, I don't. Part of it is I don't want people to know what I'm doing. I like working in silence.
You have a Garmin app or something, Apple app?
I actually just got a new Garmin. I bought it from one of my buddies because my other one broke, so the 4-year run ended.
Rethink that philosophy if you're interested in a career, in radio.
They'll know where you are.
Working in silence isn't gonna make it.
By the way, you can't even go on vacation because people will know. Oh, he's out of town.
Yeah, they'll see me in Hawaii running. They're like, oh, that dude again.
That guy was running. He ran all the way to Hawaii.
He dropped to Hawaii. Goodness, it must be nice to be an athlete here at A&M. Goodness gracious.
I think you even run over the Pacific Ocean.
What's up, Eric? What do you got for
us? So I got one thing for you. Number 7, Texas A&M women's tennis team secured a 5-1 win over Northwestern this past Monday at the USTA National Campus in Orlando, Florida. They will stay in Florida this week, head up to Gainesville for their first SEC dual match of the season. They will take on the Gators Friday, March 3rd, with the first serve set at 4 p.m. Central Time.
Good stuff.
Nice job, Mark Weaver. Those
doing really good.
And that team's always good.
They're great. He's one of the best people.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, I like him a lot. All right, when we come back here on TexAgs Radio, the big shot of the week. Couple names for you, OB. I don't know if you've got one for. I'm gonna let you do at least one. You can do 2. It wasn't a great weekend.
That's what I'm saying.
But there's a couple guys that deserve some props, so we can do that. And we'll get to your text messages at 979-693-1150. So if you're in an emergency-like situation and you want quick relief, you want a place to go quickly and get the help that you need, you go to Caprock Health System because they're going to take care of you. They have a very unique one-on-one experience out there because their patients benefit from a low doctor-to-nurse ratio, to patient ratio, to make sure that they know your individual needs. Whatever that might be, they want to get to know you and your needs, and they're going to make sure that you are taken care of quickly. They've got hotel-quality rooms that you never have to worry about a jury environment or share a room with another patient. Also, Caprock Hospital has the most advanced CT scanner in the region, all right? So they'll take really good care of you there. They are 100% locally owned and operated, and they put the patient first in every decision that they make. Their sole purpose is to make you feel better. They got 2 state-of-the-art locations designed for patient healing and family friendliness. You've got Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station. They both have 0 wait time for emergency care, so you'll never have to sit in a crowded waiting room. It is Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The Brazos Valley Chorale presents Night/Light, a chorale concert on Sunday at 4 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church in Bryan. Tickets are online at bvchorale.org. Tenor Mark McGowan will be the featured artist for the Plas Series recital on Sunday at 2 p.m. at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in downtown Bryan. The concert is free and open to the public. Professor Carol Swain will discuss the impact of the diversity agenda on our campuses and culture from her perspective as a scholar and vice chair of the Presidential 1776 Commission. You're invited to the discussion on Wednesday, March 8th at 6 p.m. in the MSC Gates Ballroom. Help the Brazos Valley Food Bank bring hope to the table. Donate online at bvfb.org. You can hear Aggie baseball on the Zone, Aggie softball on Gospel 97.3 FM, and you can hear both online at radioaggieland.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Need a place to call home? Lone Star Realty Group has a wide selection of properties to choose from. Looking for local experienced real estate professionals to work with? Well, Lone Star Realty has served the Brazos Valley for over 17 years. Want to work with a local company backed by Compass? The largest, most innovative independent brokerage in America? Lone Star Realty, a strong local brand with instant recognition, wants to meet you. Visit LoneStarBCS.com. Lone Star Realty Group. Experience, integrity, results.
Maroon U is your ultimate stop for brand name apparel, gifts, and accessories for the entire family. From Columbia, 47 brand, Yeti, Dooney & Burke, and Adidas, we're able to outfit you for every occasion. Visit Maroon U and our family of companies on Holloman Drive in College Station to shop the latest in brand name Aggie merchandise. Shop Maroon U today, voted best in the Brazos' best gift shop since 2016. Maroon never looked so good with Maroon U.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights, here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods, here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all, here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Look inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Don't miss a single rant, guest, or moment. You can download or subscribe to any and all of your favorite shows inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. There's also a special selection where you can find select interviews from David, Louie, and Chip. Look up Zone interviews inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Download or subscribe, but don't miss out. Check out the Pod Center at zone1150.com.
Well, all right. We're back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Our Time, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. OB, it's time to do the big shot of the week. We got a couple big shots for you. I know difficult after A&M basketball drops a game, and, of course, baseball loses 2 of 3. At one point, they had lost 3 in a row. That being said, there are some folks. Do you want to mention anyone, or you want me to just go right into it?
Off the top of my head, I'm probably going to mention guys that you already have written down because there's not many. So I guess you have to put Lovelette
for winning
obvious
a game.
reasons,
Yeah.
have a big shot, big hit. And then I would, basketball-wise, I would still put Wade Taylor. I mean, if you average 21 points a game.
The last 2 games, 25 and 21 points. So there you go.
So that'd be 23 points.
23 points a game. Yep. He is the number 1 person I put on that list. 25 points against Tennessee, 21 against Mississippi State. He was the offense really against Mississippi State. This is not like a stretch anymore. This is who he's become. That's what it feels like, at least.
It definitely feels that way. And, I think you're right. I think that's who he's become. That doesn't mean that he won't have a game where, like Boots did. Boots had been in double figures for 10 straight games. which I think that streak started with his 31-point outburst.
That sounds right.
Against Auburn. And then he had an off game. So everybody can have an off game, but Wade Taylor, I just don't know how. I'm really going to be curious and intrigued about the All SEC team when it comes out, where they're going to put Wade on it. I just don't see how you leave him off first team.
They won't leave him off. They won't. There's no way. He's been that good especially at the end of the season, where there's more eyeballs and more attention being placed to seeding and how he's playing. I think absolutely he's going to be on there. He's been fantastic. The other name I put on there, OB, Hunter Haas. Defensively was amazing for A&M. He leads the team in batting average, but just past weekend, look at that, 6 of 9, 667 batting average during the stretch. He's been great. Schloss has talked about him, but defensively he's been there and offensively providing a spark.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't been able to get out and watch all the games. But just from what I'm reading and listening to, it sounds to me like in this early tough stretch, their biggest issue is not getting runners on base, but getting the
timely hits,
the big hits, to bring them in.
Yeah, they had the timely hits has been a problem. And some of their stars that you would expect, right? The Targaches, the Trevor Warners, they just haven't really exploded the way you'd think they would. And there's been some issues in the pen.
But isn't that, especially delivering the big key hit, isn't that the same thing we were talking about this time last year?
Yeah.
So why are people that's why I keep going back. Why is there this, not among everybody, but some, there's this sense of panic or already giving up on them, because it was the same thing last year. The problem's not getting the hits. The problem's getting putting them together.
Yeah,
right.
Look, and Schloss was in here yesterday. He didn't seem worried. The bottom line is, could guys have rough years? Absolutely, they could have rough years. Do we think Trevor Warner and Austin Boast and Ryan Targa and the entire crew is going to struggle all season long? No. They're too good of baseball players. They're getting started. We went through it a year ago, and you can't always compare year to year, but at least there's signs to be like, all right, this team's weathered that before. They'll be fine.
I guess it's the whole battered Aggie syndrome thing.
Yeah.
And it obviously affects different people differently, right? So it's like some people get the flu really bad. Some people, it's not quite as bad for them. But there are those that as soon as there's the window open, they bolt to jump out on the ledge, immediately. And it's today is February 28th. We're still not out of February.
Yeah, this team is going to be hopefully playing deep into June, right? So there's a ways to go.
And there's this faction that are all upset and panicked because in February, they're doing the same thing. They're having the same issue that they had at this time last year, the team that that finished third in the nation. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around that. But
well, look, maybe for basketball this season, I understood it after Wofford because it felt like, are they going to figure this out? Because I don't think anybody at that point, I think we expected them to be better than that. I don't know if we expected them to go on the run that they've gone through in SEC play.
Well, I think we expected the team to be pretty much what we've seen since SEC play. Remember, they were ranked early in the year.
But did you see them being the second best team in the SEC?
No.
That's the part that
I thought that they would be a team that would be a double bye team, or at least at least be in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll admit, when they lost to Wofford, when I really started having concerns was when they, believe it or not, because the Murray State I didn't get too worked up about, when they got blown out in Fort Worth at Boise.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Now
this is not the team we signed up for.
And then but then they came back and they beat, I think, Oregon State, and they had a couple good games, and they went and almost beat Memphis. And I'm thinking, okay, now they've turned it around. And then they lost to Wofford, blew a 10-point lead, and then I'm thinking, okay, I had to admit I was pessimistic.
Yeah.
And then they become the team that they are now. And I just wonder, how many times do you have to see a team like A&M's baseball team last year get off to a slow start, gain momentum, the football team in 2020 barely gets by Vanderbilt and then loses at Alabama bad. Of course, a lot of teams lost to Alabama bad. And if you really put it under the microscope, it didn't have to be that bad. But point is, I can remember that year. Somebody, Jimbo should be fired, all this and all. And then I even wrote a column about it. I said, look, if they lose to Florida, I won't get mad at you. Or, I won't criticize you for getting out on the ledge. And if they lose to Mississippi State, I'll get out there with you. And then they turn it around. And it's just like there's so many people. It frustrated me that if I don't get the immediate gratification right away, I haven't figured out after watching that football team in 2020 or that baseball team last year or the basketball teams the last 2 years, I haven't figured out that if you get off to a slow start, it doesn't mean that you're going to be a bad team.
I'm glad you brought. Look, we got to hit a break.
Okay,
here,
sorry.
But
I went on a diatribe.
but I'm going to extend it a little bit because I'm glad you brought up 2020 because the moving target that is 2020, depending on what team you root for, is amazing. I was with a group of people this past week, and they were like, "Do you think Jimbo's going to get fired?" Like, no, I don't think he's going to get fired. No. And they're like, "Man, well, but he's been a disappointment at A&M." I go, let's not forget. They should have been in the playoff. He was like, they should have been in the playoff. Like, yeah, in 2020. He goes, the 9-1, 2020 doesn't count.
Why does it not count?
Exactly. And I said, and this guy was a Lakers fan. I go, does the Lakers championship in 2020 count? Yeah. Oh, interesting. Does Alabama's count? Yeah. So why does A&M's 9-1 season not count in your eyes, but everybody else's eyes? And I just find it, and this guy wasn't trying to be a punk. That's just what he's conditioned to believe when it comes to the A&M story.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I'll reiterate one of the things you said about they should have been in. What A&M did that year against an all-SEC schedule absolutely was more deserving of being in the playoff than Ohio State, which, remember, the Big Ten, first of all, they only played like 6 games.
Yep.
And the Big Ten changed its own rules to get Ohio State in.
Sure did.
Because they had rules that, well, if you don't play X amount of games, you can't play for the Big Ten championship. And then Ohio State didn't qualify. Okay, we're going to change it.
We're going to change it now. Yeah. All right, we got to hit a break. We'll come back with Shireen Williams right now. The Association of Former Students. Hey, Shireen's one. I'm one. They've been around for a long time, and hopefully you have seen their impact around this community. Hello, across the street, Aggie Park is awesome. What they do is they give, and they've been doing it for a long, long time. And the reason they do it is because they want to give back to Aggies everywhere, and they want you to realize that you are the reason for everything that they do, which is why they've created a site called IamTheWhy.com, which is a place where you can feel Aggie stories, hear Aggie stories, see Aggie stories, and be a part of this. You can upload your story as well. You want to feel why the association gives so much to this great community. It's unique to be an Aggie, and our stories are need to be told, which is why they have this website for you to upload your story and tell the world about your time at A&M, and then check out other stories as well. IamTheWhy.com is the website. IamTheWhy.com. It is the Association of Former Students.
We are going. Are you ready? The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is a place for winning games. The Zone.
It's time. Oh, here we go.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's back and better than ever. Chili Fest 2023, presented by Miller Lite, is headed to Snook, Texas, March 31st and April 1st for 2 days of live music and the kind of fun you can only have in Aggie Land. This year with Saturday performances by The Weathered Souls, Jacob Stelly, Colton Moore and The Clever Few, Shane Smith and The Saints, and headliner Whiskey Myers. Friday performances by Tyler Halverson, Carson Jeffrey, Giovanni and the Hired Guns, Muscadine Bloodline, and headliner Jamie Johnson. Get your tickets online now at chilifest.org, plus camping, team information, and more. Chili Fest 2023, presented by Miller Lite. Miller Brewing Company. Great beer, great responsibility. 21 means 21.
Does the insulated glass in your windows refuse to come clean no matter how hard you work? If so, the glass unit has probably lost its seal. You might notice moisture between the panes, a hazy look, shadows, or even the growth of some white mold. If so, it's time to call your friends at Intercon. Not only are these conditions unattractive, but you no longer have an insulated barrier in your windows. There are a number of options available to you to remedy lost seals. Most options allow you to retain your existing window frame and just replace the bad glass with a new sealed unit. Clear insulated glass offers an insulating pocket, but no protection against solar heat gain. Low E insulated glass adds a coating between the sheets of glass. The coating blocks about 80% of the solar heat gain, as well as the damaging UV rays of the sun. Another option is to trade out the entire window frame with a premium vinyl window. Since Intercon does both glass and windows, we can offer you a full complement of options. Call Intercon to get a free quote from a locally owned and managed business.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help you keep your home energy efficient year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Question: would you pick a chain barbecue place over a hometown joint? Do you root for East Coast universities instead of the local team? Nah, then why choose a big Wall Street bank? A&B started in 1892. 5 generations later, we're still owned and operated by the same Texas family. We support this community. We value your privacy. We make quick decisions, and we hate red tape. We answer to you, not Wall Street. Bank with A&B. Family owned, Texas proud. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Every Friday, noon till 1, we go inside the pit on the Louis Bellina Show with barbecue pit master, the Smokin' Aces competition team, Bryce Jones. Inside the Pit, brought to you by Dixie Tire Company. Family owned, serving the BCS for over 35 years. You need tires for your truck, car, tractor, trailer, lawnmower, even your wheelbarrow. It's Dixie Tire Company. Join me, Louis Bellina, and Bryce Jones inside the pit Fridays, noon till 1.
The only 2 things in life that make it worth living is guitars that tune good and firm, feeling women. Now, I don't need my name in the marquee lights.
You know this one.
I got my song.
Way.
Got you
Yeah.
with me
Lynn
tonight.
Jennings.
Waylon Jennings.
And
And
Celine Dion.
You got to turn in your Texas card now.
Who is it?
It's Waylon Jennings with Willie Nelson later.
I didn't hear Willie. Well, I mean, if I had heard his voice, I would have told you.
But you don't know the song. That's what I'm saying.
You know what? We're coming back
There's
with
certain
UGK
things
now.
that you just got to know.
Okay. I agree. I'm going to show you a couple things you got to know.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Here in the Rollo Insurance Studio, Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Let's go to the hotline by somebody that you have to know. If you're from Texas or you like football. Shireen Williams here on the show, the Hall of Famer, the Great Aggie. Shireen, good morning.
Good morning. And sitting here in Indianapolis waiting for the first set of interviews to start. We got Sean Payton and Josh McDaniels and a whole bunch of people coming up here in about 25 minutes. It's going to be a fun day.
So you mentioned Sean Payton there, and I am really curious how that's going to work out with Russell Wilson, just that whole scenario. I don't see it as a fit, but maybe it is.
Yeah, I thought he might turn down Denver simply because of Russell Wilson. But here's the thing. It's a no-lose situation for him. If he turns around Russell Wilson's career, and they win, they hit big, everybody says, Sean Payton's an offensive genius. And, of course, no coach has won multiple Super Bowls with multiple teams, and he has an opportunity to do that, to be the first, and he knows that that's a chance that he has. And if Russell Wilson fails, he'll be gone in a year, and they'll have a new quarterback, and everybody say, well, it's Russell Wilson. So it really is a no-lose situation for him. He's with the team, with the big money ownership group now that just bought the team. So I think he's in a really good situation. A little surprised because, the Cowboys could come open next year. That's been his one of his lifelong dreams, is to work as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And he missed it by a year the last time. Bill Parcells retired the year after he left and went to New Orleans. So this time, Mike McCarthy could move on, obviously, after this year if he doesn't take another step, and Sean will have missed it by a year.
Why do you tease me, Shireen, and say things like it could be the last year for Mike McCarthy? Start getting my hopes up in February, only to know they'll be crashed next January. Do you look into the future? Is Mike McCarthy, you think they're going to have a year? And I know, look, you got to wait for the draft and who they get and free agency. But do you really think they're ever going to be any better under Mike McCarthy?
I don't know. 12 wins 2 years in a row, but you don't get past the divisional round, and I think he's going to have to at least get to the conference championship game this season to have a chance to keep his job. I really do. I just think the clock is ticking on that. Regular season's great. Getting to 12 wins is great, but it's got to be more than that. And he hadn't shown that he can get this team to that next level. And the loss of 49ers, just the 2 years in a row weren't good losses. The first one was at home, and you mismanaged the clock at the end there. And then this year on the road to a rookie quarterback who I realized he went out early in the NFC Championship game, but they were pretty non-competitive. But the Cowboys just, they talk about playing championship defense. They didn't play championship defense against the 49ers when it mattered most. They dropped interceptions. They didn't get to the quarterback. I mean, they just weren't good in that game. So as good as that defense was, it wasn't good enough in the postseason. So it's on him. He's got this year at least to show that he can take that next step. And I guess as a coach, that's all you can ask for. But they got to figure it out. And certainly the off season, I think their main priority. In fact, I know their main priority. I've talked to a lot of people. Their main priority is to find a receiver to go with CeeDee Lamb. Now they want somebody to take the lid off and go deep, have some speed there, and we'll see if they can find that in free agency or the draft. But they've got to get that other receiver to go with Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb.
So, Obi, can I tell her, or can you tell her your prediction you told me at the break, or or is this a quiet one about A-Chain?
Oh, yeah. My thinking is Devon A-Chain's going to be a first-round pick of the Kansas City Chiefs because he's very Tyreek Hill-like, and if anybody can appreciate that, it would be the Chiefs.
Well, that's a good point. I don't think they take him in the first round because they got him. They could probably still take him in the second round, and that may be a second-round pick. I don't think he goes in the first round. I just don't know that any teams value players like that.
They took Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round.
I know they did, and it was a mistake, wasn't it? He hasn't lived up to what where they picked him anyway. Yeah, I mean, he would absolutely fit there, and it's a good comparison, I think, with what he can do in the return game, and they do value that. And look, the two worst teams in special teams last year were the Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. So I don't think he goes to the end of the first round, but if you would tell me the end of the second round, I would say, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
By the way, what she just said makes me completely devalue special teams. When the two worst teams in the NFL in special teams were the two teams in the Super Bowl.
This is true.
Exactly right. And I said for the Super Bowl, I said there will be a special teams play that will help decide this game. And there was a punt return that got to get to the 6-yard line, I think, and it helped decide the game. It was a big play in the game.
Hey, Shireen, are you hearing anything on Antonio Johnson? I think tomorrow's DBs. Am I right about that?
Yep, tomorrow's DBs. I haven't heard anything yet, and I haven't asked around, but I certainly will before I come on here the next time, and I'll go listen to him tomorrow, and we'll see what's said. I think we have 3 Aggies here, right?
Yep.
If I'm correct. And, a couple of them are coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, Jalen Jones, the other one. Two guys that I mean, Antonio's play speaks for itself. Jalen's got the size. You see them play.
Yeah.
Are you seeing Jalen in top 4 or 5 rounds, or have you heard any?
Yeah, I'll ask around, but I think you're probably dead on. Those middle rounds, I think, is probably where he goes. And I think you're dead on with both of those guys, the evaluations of both of them.
Hey, Shireen, I'm going to ask one of those questions that that nobody can answer. And it's because earlier today, our producer, Nick Savage, asked us how many baseball coaches were going to be in the whole nation were going to be kicked out of games this year, like anyone can answer, right? So,
yeah, right.
With that in mind, I'm going to ask you this: how many Hall of Fames are you going to be in? Because I saw you just got into another Hall of Fame.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Well, a lot of them were delayed by COVID. Like, this is the hometown museum, the Gulf Coast Museum of the Gulf Coast. So it's in my hometown of Beaumont, the area. It's actually in Port Arthur. But so Jimmy Johnson's in there, and Wade Phillips and R.C. Slocum, of course, is in there. So going in with 3 coaches I covered, which is a pretty cool deal. It's a really nice museum. I hate to say I had never been in there, but I hadn't been in there till Saturday when they had the ceremony, and it's just a really, really cool museum. And I'm like, wait, this person's from Beaumont, this person's from Port Arthur, this person's from Orange, and didn't know that there were quite a few in there. But yeah, have had some great Aggies, obviously, come through Beaumont, and a lot of them have played at A&M, the McElroys and the Frank Middletons, and a bunch of those guys that have come through and played at A&M that went to Westbrook. Anderson now is on our team that came from Westbrook. So we've had a little pipeline there from Beaumont Westbrook into Texas A&M.
I figure the under-over on her Hall of Fames by the time it's over, it's got to be 5. Because there's the Texas Hall of Fame that's coming, and then there's probably some Westbrook High School Hall of Fame, and there's some A&M. She's already distinguished alumni, which is some kind of a Hall of Fame.
Right. Hey, Shireen, I got to ask one final question about Bryce Young. So over the weekend, I kept on hearing conversations how big of a week it's going to be for Bryce, because if he's 185 pounds, that's going to hurt his stock, or whatever, 190. If he's 195 or above, then he's for sure 1 or 2. I mean, is it really come down to a pound or 2?
It might. I mean, you don't see quarterbacks who are that small play in the NFL and take the punishment that is doled out in the NFL, as we all know. We've seen on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays. So. I do think that's going to be probably the biggest thing for him this week is what's he going to weigh? How tall exactly is he? And by exactly, I mean, we have an idea, but we don't know for sure. It's just like Johnny. We were waiting with bated breath when Johnny went through, how tall is he really? Same with Kyler Murray. How tall is he really? And I think we're going to be waiting for that on Bryce Young. How tall is he really, and how much is he going to weigh? And they all say, as you said, we've read he's going to be close to 200 pounds and has really put some weight on. But that scale is going to tell the tale. Now he's going to be a top 10 pick. There's no question about that, and I think he's probably going to be 1 or 2. But I do think they will feel more comfortable with the pick the taller he is and the more he weighs, if that makes sense. I do think those few pounds will make a difference.
That is Shireen Williams here on the hotline. Shireen, thank you so much. Enjoy your time in Indy.
Thank you, guys.
All right, talk to you in a bit. That is Shireen Williams here on TexAgs Radio. When we come back, an open segment, we'll get to those text messages on the A&B text line. Also, there's a report out there that a bunch of RSNs are going to be coming down, regional sports networks. We'll talk about that next on TexAgs.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone, brought to you by Paisano's Italian Pizzeria. Go see them at their new location on Highway 6 in Rock Prairie by Scott and White. Always fresh, never frozen. Paisano's Italian Pizzeria. Support the Greens on the Greens. Wreaths Across America, Brazos Valley's second annual fundraiser. Saturday, March 17th from 6 to 8 at Big Shots Golf. Find Brazos Valley Wreaths Across America on Facebook for more information. Friends of Chamber Music presents German virtuoso organist Christian Schmidt in a free concert at A&M United Methodist Church on Tuesday, March 21st at 7 p.m. Brazos County Master Gardener's Spring Plant Sale is Saturday, March 25th from 8 to 11 a.m. at the Brazos County Extension Office. Bring your wagon and load up. You're invited to Living History Weekend at the Museum of the American GI, March 25th and 26th. Visit AmericanGIMuseum.org for more information. Community Calendar is brought to you by Paisano's Italian Pizzeria. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Dive in for a fantastic spring break at Moody Gardens. Explore fact and fiction at the new Sharks in Death exhibit. Come face to face with real sharks, penguins, seals, and more at the Aquarium Pyramid. Check out the strangest and most spectacular in Secrets of the Sea 3D and Shark 4D. Enjoy an afternoon cruise, island golf at one of the top public golf courses in Texas, or relax poolside at the beautiful Moody Gardens Hotel. Save with a value pass in Moody Gardens Hotel and golf packages. Online always, the best deals are at moodygardens.org.
Brazos Running Company, located in Century Square, knows the right shoe makes all the difference. They are passionate about running and fitness and for finding the shoe that fits your stride and style. In addition to sought-after running shoe brands like On and Hoka, Brazos Running Company now carries Birkenstock shoes, and they are the only place in town to carry Vuori clothing, one of the hottest athletic wear brands in the country. So come shop Aggie-owned and operated Brazos Running Company in Century Square below Star Cinema Grill in College Station.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
NFL quarterbacks under the most pressure to win a title. Key, what you got?
Number 6,
Joe Burrow.
Number 5,
Justin Herbert.
Number 4,
Lamar Jackson at number 4.
Number 3,
Dak Prescott.
Number 2,
Josh Allen. But the number one guy in the pressure cooker
Number 1
is in the bunker right now, Aaron Rodgers.
Spend your mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Mornings from 5 to 8 here on The Zone.
In a white room with black curtains near the station.
A white room with black curtains.
In the station.
Black roof country.
Huh.
No gold.
I don't know if that would be a good look. Yeah, I got to picture it.
It may not be, but it was a good hit for Cream.
Yeah. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour coming to a close here in a moment. Presented by the warehouse at CC Creations. Got some text messages on the A&B text line we need to get to. Plus, I want to kind of get into a little bit into that RSN story I teased a moment ago. Eric, what do we have popping there at the News and Social Center?
First up, we got Matt in San Antonio. He said, how many games does A&M need to win to be a 6 seed? I prefer us not being in the 7 to 10 range, as that would mean we would be playing a 1 or 2 seed in the next round.
What do you think? At least 3 more wins?
Yeah.
If you win these next 2, which would be,
one of them probably needs to be Alabama.
Yeah, you got to beat Alabama.
Probably, but at least 3 more wins.
Yeah, you got to beat Alabama.
Beat Ole Miss and win at least 2 in the SEC tournament if you don't beat Alabama.
If you don't, yeah.
So I was looking at some of the like matchups and odds, like for the seeding, like the odds of like if you're a 7 seed and you play a 10 seed, like what is the all-time record between those? And the 6 versus 11 is actually the most common upset the past 5 years. 9 and 11 the past 5 years, and last year they tied 2 and 2. So it's pretty common sometimes.
Yeah, everybody talks about the 5-12 as supposed to be so dangerous one, but it's actually the 6 and 11.
6 and 11, man.
Yeah.
It's sneaky.
My thing is with A&M, really doesn't matter. I mean, I would prefer to avoid a 1 seed in the second round if you can get to the second round. But to me, it really comes down to A&M. The way they play, they can match up with any team in the country.
And, I'm not too – if you get the 1 in the second round, you're probably going to have to play them anyway eventually.
Yeah.
So I actually like the idea if A&M has to play a 1 in the second round because –
the short rest?
The short rest and the short amount of time to trying to figure out what A&M is doing on defense.
But and I agree with you because the way they play travels, right? And in a tournament setting could be very dangerous. But I know Buzz really likes those 4 looks before the next game, and that is certainly escalated. But you're going to have to play them. That's the tournament
play
setting.
Them anyway, so I don't worry about it.
Anything else, Eric?
Dale and Tabor said, true or false, the fans wailing down in gloom after the first game that didn't go as they expected is reflective of this sense of self-entitlement rampant in the younger generation today.
Well, but is it just younger fans?
No, it's old people,
too. Is it just younger fans? That's my question. I mean, there's no way I have to know. It's like asking me how many guys are going to be kicked out of the baseball games. There's no way I'm going to know.
Right.
But I would suspect it's not just young guys.
No, I think we live in a whiny social media society.
And people, sometimes I don't even think that people may not even be as outraged or worried, but they have a chance to go on social media and express it and call attention to themselves.
That is it, because I think we all have those same thoughts. We don't just verbalize them all the time. So before social media, before message boards, before all that, right? Because I'm admitting it. I'll watch a game and the other team will score a touchdown and I think we're going to lose. And then we score a touchdown and I think we can't lose. We're going to win, right? But I don't necessarily type it, right? So we live in a world, right? The moment, I got to tell everybody what I'm thinking. I got to go to the bathroom. Let me post a picture. Oh, I had cheeseburger. Let me post a picture. Oh, I think the Aggies are going to win. I got to tell the world. Oh, I think we're going to lose every game. Let me tell the world.
I think so. Or maybe I think I'm being clever, so I got to come up with some clever line.
And by the way, we've built a great business doing that. I love it. But sometimes I think we just need to also sit back and be like, what is the totality? What is it going to look like after 6 weeks of playing? What is it going to look like after each chapter of the season?
Yeah, give it a little time is all I'm saying. Now, the basketball team, I understood if you were ready to jump off the bandwagon after Wofford. I got it. You just lost at home to Wofford, and you're 15 games into the season. And what would make you think that suddenly you're going to be good in the SEC play? But that said, that whole thing, this whole baseball last year and basketball this year and basketball last year should be a lesson to you to just wait.
Just wait. All right. Hey, quickly on this RSN thing, Regional Sports Network. So AT&T and Root Sports, apparently they're going to be filing for bankruptcy soon. What that means is, and I know Bally Sports is also doing it, or they already have, but it's not going to affect their broadcast. But there's a bunch of teams in the area, right, that the Rockets and the Astros are on AT&T Sports in Houston. They're going to have to find somewhere else to broadcast their games for Rockets next season. And I assume baseball season that starts here, it's already in spring training. So apparently that's going on. And what the thinking is, sports are going to be moving to more of a pay-per-view digital platforms, kind of like the MLS moved to Apple TV, that could be happening for MLB games. You want MLB games, you're going to have to pay for it.
Well, let's see how bad you want them. I don't follow MLB. I just like to root for the Dodgers to lose. Not that I have anything against the Dodgers. I just like to see Richard Zane in misery.
Yeah. I like when he's happy, too, though. Not necessarily with the Dodgers.
It's not as much fun.
No, it's not.
A happy Richard is not as much fun as miserable Richard.
Well, so many ways you could have said that. All right. Obi, thank you, sir.
You bet.
When we come back on TexAgs Radio, we're going to go back down memory lane. Jason Carter. What was his nickname? The Pride of Caldwell? What did they call him?
I don't know. I just called him Jason Carter.
Jason Carter. Mr. Carter. We're going to have Mr. Carter on the show at 9:05. Trisha Ford, 9:20. Pat Henry, 9:35. It is a loaded 9 o'clock hour. We'll get to your text messages on the A&B text line. It's TexAgs Radio.
Have you registered today for your chance to win a pair of tickets to go see the Turnpike Troubadours in concert at the Houston Rodeo? Go to zone1150.com. Go every day and register till March 6th, and you can win a pair of tickets to go see the Turnpike Troubadours thanks to Grohalski Sausage. Aggie-owned and operated. Go visit them in downtown Bremond. Make sure, register each day at zone1150.com.
The NLS Braille and Talking Book program gives patrons with visual or physical disabilities the freedom to read their way.
If you want to read in electronic braille, you can. If you want to read on your phone, you can. If you want to read in heart print, you can.
Everybody can read the way they want to read using this program.
For more information about the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped Library of Congress, visit loc.gov/thatallmayread.
Listen to Louis Bellina, Chip Howard, TexAgs Radio, or Paul Feinbaum. Do it on your smart speaker. Just say play Zone 1150 now. This is KCNE College Station Bryan, Aggieland's home for sports.
WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Bryan police has identified the bicyclist who was killed Sunday after being struck by a vehicle that was involved in a collision near Bryan High School. 68-year-old Johnny Mary Walton of Bryan was waiting to cross 29th and Barrick when they were struck. BPD ticketed the driver of a white pickup truck for failing to yield the right-of-way while making a left turn. The collision involved the white and a silver pickup truck. The bicyclist was struck by the silver truck. Last Thursday, during the midnight hour, a two-vehicle crash closed Harvey Road near Veterans Park. Yesterday, College Station police released the name of the driver who was killed. Investigators continue to look into the collision that took the life of 35-year-old Amadeo Hernandez Vasquez of College Station. The city of College Station has notified the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality about last week's oil spill in Wolfpen Creek. City officials tell WTAW News an estimated 20 to 30 gallons of motor oil from a spill at an auto repair shop landed in the creek after mixing with water from an apartment complex. College Station police arrested Temple man after finding illegal drugs in his apartment last December. CSPD arrest reports accused 19-year-old Tyler Sears of selling marijuana, THC bars, and mushrooms near Wolfpen Creek Park, which is a drug-free zone. The College Station ISD School Board decides to protest property values as determined by the state comptroller's office.
So apparently our local appraisal district didn't assign high enough values.
That's correct.
As according to the comptroller's office.
Study.
Superintendent Mike Martindale and Chief Financial Officer Amy Draws believe the comptroller providing higher numbers is a trend around the state.
If those higher assigned local values through from the comptroller's standpoint, you would receive less state funding.
Correct.
That's correct?
Correct.
The CSISD board agreed to let the Brazos Central Appraisal District, which came up with the local valuation numbers, file the protest. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
What I would tell people is that you don't have to be in pain anymore.
Meet Dr. Justin Garzone, Medical Director at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in using advanced regenerative medicine to give people lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
What's exciting is that I get to see patients with our treatments actually get better.
Have you discovered regenerative medicine? It's an all-natural way to use the power of your own body to restore and repair damaged tissue.
We're using things that are already in your body, and we're simply concentrating them and then put it in an area of your body that you're having the pain so that your body can start the regenerative process, the healing process.
For pain in your knees, hips, back, shoulders, don't assume the old treatments are the only treatments. Avoid drugs and surgery and get lasting relief. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics 979-452-6000. That's 979-452-6000. 979-452-6000.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Sean Burnett with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This update is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hillcosupply.com. Aggie baseball will look to bounce back from a tough weekend series versus Portland as they take on Houston Christian tonight. After dropping the first two games of the series versus Portland, the guys got the win on Sunday with a walk-off in the ninth inning. You can listen to that game tonight at 6 o'clock on The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. A&M men's basketball now looks to a matchup with Ole Miss tonight as the guys saw their win streak come to an end on Saturday, falling to Mississippi State 69-62. Ole Miss recently fired head coach Kermit Davis. He's replaced by interim coach Win Case. You can listen to the game tonight at 8 o'clock on 1620 94.5 WTAW. Aggie women's basketball heads to South Carolina for the SEC tournament this week. The women enter as the 13th seed and will take on Vanderbilt at 10 a.m. tomorrow. You can listen on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Aggie softball has the University of Houston coming to town tomorrow for a midweek game. The game will start at 6 o'clock, and you can listen on Gospel 97.3. The number 10 Texas A&M women's golf team was led by Zoe Slaughter through the first two rounds of the Icon Invitational, who shot a program record through 36 holes, 14 under, 130 at the Golf Club of Houston on Monday. The women sit in first place, one shot ahead of Iowa State. And the number 15 Aggie men's golf team is in action at the Southern Highlands Collegiate. After two rounds, the team is in 8th place. And that's your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Sean Burnett.
On Sports Talk, I recently visited with actor Corbin Burnson about a new documentary, Journey of Faith, filmed in the small town of Kipling, Saskatchewan, Canada.
I fell so in love with this town. I wrote a movie for the town that they funded, and everybody in the movie was from the town. And
Sports Talk, spanning the globe to bring you interesting stuff. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on The Zone.
Look, if you had one shot, one opportunity.
Now this is music. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So our next guest, let's see if I can phrase this the way I want to. Back in the day when I was doing TV for ABC 40, he won't remember me, but he was one of my go-to guys. So we'd get to do one-on-ones, which we don't really get to do anymore. And you'd put in your list of names you want to talk to. And Reggie was on that list back in, I think, 04, maybe it was 05. It was my first TV job. Reggie, Jason Carter, McGee towards the end of the year, Jaworski. That was a fun group to cover. And we've got Jason Carter here from Caldwell, who played at A&M from 02 through 05. Welcome to the show, Jason. Thanks for coming on, man.
I'm glad to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So let's get to it. What are you doing these days? I know you've been coaching, and I see that you have impacted kids from all sports.
Yeah, I have. I've been coaching. Just recently won a state championship title. We just beat De La Salle in the championship, which is, man, it's monumental out here. De La Salle as a school has been historically great, and yeah, man, we took it to them.
You're in San Diego, right?
San Diego, yeah. Also, too, I put 175 kids in college off of full ride scholarships. So,
wow,
yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that is not only beautiful, but there's I've got high school age kids now that I'm starting to think about how do they get to play at the next level. Coaching matters so much, but also what you guys do behind the scenes to help give these kids a platform and a place to be seen. Kind of tell me how you've done that with your kids.
I think from a standpoint, I'm a father first. So being a father first, my coaching style is a little bit different. So I coach pretty tough, just like a life lesson. So I coach the kids like I'm coaching my own two sons. And so there's a real tough love there. And so, but as you do that, you build these relationships with these kids, and you kind of understand what makes them tick, because it's more than just coaching X's and O's. It's the mental part of it, it's the spiritual part of it, it's the physical part of it. So you got to take into the holistic approach of how you kind of come in contact with these kids and how you coach them. Because everybody else, man, what I'm figuring out is that it's a lot of handlers out here. It's a lot of people that just want to win for their own, ego. And for me, I just want the kid to win. Like I figure, I got, like I said, I got two boys, and for me, those two boys mean the world. So I want to make the world a better place. So if I can help put kids in college and help educate kids and make them, do better things, then the world will, it's kind of like my part of helping the world to be better.
How'd you end up on the West Coast and in San Diego in particular?
When I finished playing with the Carolina Panthers, my family wanted to kind of move out here. My ex-wife at the time, we wanted to move out here, and so we moved out here. And then, it's been out here ever since. I mean, I come back, but I love the West Coast. The weather is really, really good.
Well, I love living in College Station, but when I lived in San Diego for 1 year, that was probably the best year of my pre-married life, right? Like 2001, young, San Diego's got a little bit of everything, man. You're in a great place. Let's kind of take it back, all right? Let's go back to your days in Caldwell and how you ended up at Texas A&M. What was the reasoning behind you ending up at A&M?
Coach R.C. Slocum, man. I think he was just legendary, his approach. I remember just having conversation with him and just feeling like, he was the guy that could help get me to where I wanted to go. It was unfortunate that, I didn't really get the chance to play for him, but he was just different in the aspect of how he wanted his approach. And so I remember just talking to him, Coach Craig Thorpe, and, my cousin Ty Warren was there too. And so that was kind of like a big, it was a big chunk of the reason why I wanted to go to Texas A&M.
There was a chance that you could have played quarterback in Nebraska, right? When there were talks of that happening.
Yeah, I was pretty much set to go to Nebraska. Texas came in late, but when Coach Slocum came in in that picture, it was, I kind of like made my choices. I wanted to kind of stay at home. I was a mama's boy anyway, so I knew I wasn't going nowhere.
Did you grow up going to games? Did you kind of just feel the impact before you were an actual student?
Like when I was growing up, man, I was a big fan of Texas. A huge fan of the Longhorns. Like they just so much history with them too. But then also too, at the time, Ricky Williams was playing for them, and I was a huge fan. And my brother, he was a huge fan of Texas A&M, and so like he kind of like, hey man, would you please go to Texas A&M? And I'm actually glad I made that choice. It was the best decision for me. And like I tell people all the time, I was like, if I could do it all over again, 10 out of 10 times, I would go back to Texas A&M.
So you played in high school quarterback, but you also played wide receiver. Is that right? Did you do both, or were you only a quarterback?
Just strictly quarterback.
So how about that transition then when you got to A&M?
I think I was just an athlete. When Coach Slocum got fired, it was Coach Fred had pulled all three of us into the office, me, Dusty, and Reggie, and kind of asked us who wanted to play the position. I was like, I'll do whatever it takes for the team. You know, like I just wanted to get on the field. Like it didn't really matter if I played quarterback, or wide receiver, or running back, because I played some running back too. So I felt like I could do whatever they needed me to do to get on the field.
When you're coaching your kids and you're talking to them about, hey, I see myself as this, I see myself as that, do you bring yourself up as an example? Like, look, I went through what you're going through right now, and I did what I had to do to get on the field.
Yeah, I always talk about, like, you know, the more you can do, the more value you have. Like if you just put yourself in a box and just say you just a quarterback, and you probably remember it's only one quarterback on the field. So if you put yourself in a box and you don't get out and work and do all the work that you need, or someone doesn't like your style of play, then your chances of getting recruited are going to be a little bit slimmer than what they would be if you was, you know, in a, let's say, one of the wide receivers. You could be number 3 wide receiver and still be in the top 5 on the team and still get balls and still do, you know, still put in the work to get recruited and do all the other good stuff. So, you know, I just tell the kids, like, the more you can do, more value you have.
You had, if I remember correctly, a great relationship with Kevin Sumlin. How did he help you when you were at A&M?
He was cool. He was, you know, like Coach Sumlin was just, he just had that swag and that confidence, and he was very sure of what he was doing. You know, I think sometimes he gets a bad rap because he's a great person too, and he's a great offensive mind. You know, kind of like at the end of his tenure, I was kind of hoping that he would have took back over the reins of just calling plays, because he's a hell of a coordinator himself. And so he just helped me just to be confident in everything I was doing. You know, he always just said, like, whatever you need, like, you know, make sure you talk to me about it. You know, he was just really, really serviceable when it came to, like, understanding the ins and outs of playing that position. He was just, like I said, he was just really, 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 like, he knew what he was doing.
In 2005, I was here, obviously, and Steven takes over at the end of the season, and I feel like there was a buzz around the team because of the way he could run people over and, you know, how he played against Texas and whatnot. Do you remember just kind of that vibe of, I know it was a difficult season, but he did bring some hope and promise?
Yeah, he did. They both, Steven and Reggie, had, like, different games. Reggie was kind of surgical with the football, and I think, like, people forget about how good he was. And remember the year before, he was up for the Heisman, you know, when his name was being mentioned with the Heisman. And so I kind of think he got a bad vibe, but Steven came in and did a good job, and Steven was just tough as nails, played with a passion, he was fiery, and he gave his teammates hope from that aspect of, like, you knew you was going to get everything from him.
Well, what about that group overall? How close were you guys? How close are you still?
I mean, yeah, I talked to Reggie. You know, I saw Steven last time I came down. I believe it was the Miami game I came down because I had a player playing for Miami, and I had and it was Texas A&M playing against Miami. So one of my wide receivers was playing for them. When I saw Steven, man, he just lit up. You know, gave me a big hug. Reggie gave me a big hug. But I talked to Archie, Jolly, Byron Jones, Keelan Jackson. You know, a lot of those guys all the time. Keelan Jackson almost every day.
Yeah. What would you say was the best moment of your career at A&M? Is there a game that sticks out in your mind?
There was so many great moments. I mean, I think beating Oklahoma twice when they was ranked #1. I still remember, like, we had so much talent on that team that I think we was kind of like, it was just like a down year, and it wasn't like really good Aggie football. But I mean, the team was so talented with so many good players. I think more so than anything, the fans were always the best part of Aggie football because, like, they love their football, you know. So the two Oklahoma games, and just the fans, man.
Yeah, great answer. It's a special place here. Let's talk about your time in the NFL. The Vikings, the Panthers, and I believe you also went to the CFL and played a little bit with Toronto Argonauts. Just tell me about the professional days and how much you learned and enjoyed that.
I mean, in the professional game, you learn so much because, like, you learned how to play the game, you learn how to be a professional. I mean, you're often taught. It's often talked about in the locker rooms and all this other stuff, but you have no idea until you get there. It's a cutthroat business, so you learn what not to do. You learn to watch everybody move and see how they move and see how they operate. But everyone, I think, tends to walk on eggshells because like it's a $1 billion industry, right? Like, so like, you know, you could be talking to one guy one day and y'all are just having a great time in the locker room, and then, you know, you walk into the meetings together and there's 3 of you guys and one peels off to go to the restroom and the other 2 go head on to the meeting. And when you come out the meeting, probably maybe like a week passed because everything happened so fast. You're still wondering where the other guy was at, but he was cut that same day, you know? So, you know, like you learn really quick that it's a cutthroat business, but you got to get in and do your thing and be very professional with how you move. You know, like for me, you know, I was right there on making it, like getting ready to make it really big, I feel. And then I tore my knee up, you know, showing a lot of promise and doing everything, and then tore my knee up, you know, and that's another, you know, story in itself, because like you learn right away, like it takes a little bit of time to come back from an ACL injury. I had never been hurt. So for me, mentally, it was kind of like, it slowed me down a lot, but it also taught me a lot too. It taught me to listen to your body. So that helps me when I'm coaching kids right now. It helps me with coaching, like with how I kind of deal with our kids as far as like giving them that time back, you know, to recover, making sure we have all the things we need to get them ready to play. So yeah, I use a lot of the same stuff that I learned in the NFL and in college to help teach my kids right now. And a lot of my kids are really, really hungry to play. So, you know, they listen.
Jason, had the XFL or USFL been around in your day, would you have maybe tried to give it a go after your knee recovered?
Probably so, because, you know, like it's the life expectancy of a pro football player or a football player is not that long anyway. So you only have so much time to play it, you know. And if you're still young and you can play it and still get in the door, I mean, go for it.
Hey, last thing for you. Let's talk about this current A&M football team. Obviously, this past year, you went to the Miami game, which was one of the bright spots of the year. They brought in Bobby Buchanan to hand over the play calling duties and take over the offense. A lot of talent here. You think the ship's gonna get righted?
Well, I know one thing: if you don't, those Aggies not playing. So, I mean, it for me, it's very frustrating because like this whole like these new age kids, man, like you love them and you want them to do well, but where's the toughness at? You know, now everybody's got their hand out about, you know, NIL money, like all these damn rankings. Like it drives me nuts. You know, I think they should, you know, I don't think kids should be rated at all for me, because you'll see 5 stars and they look like, you know, Tarzan and play like Jane. And, you know, you see some kids that you like, you know, like will scrap you for your last nickel and dime, plays the game the right way, big heart, but he don't get any stars. And you wonder how people miss out on those type of players because everybody's going for these, you know, rankings. And it just drives me nuts because like let's stop glorifying these guys until they show us who they are. You know, like you play this game is meant to, you know, it's a kid's game. So play the game the right way. And, you know, like I just think like for Texas A&M to be who they are, like we there shouldn't be we should be in every conversation of, you know, playoffs. We should be in every conversation in the beating Alabama. You know, if Kirby Smart can go in there and get that thing done right away and do it with toughness and understand that, then we should be able to do the same thing and find a way to get it done.
Jason, great words, man. Thanks so much for joining us here on the show, and I hope to do it again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Jason Carter there on the hotline. Love the jersey in the background. That was good stuff. Enjoyed talking to him back in the day and now. All right, since he's from Caldwell, I'm going to do a little Caldwell Country Chevrolet talk right now. I'm sure he's been by there many times. He knows that area, Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. That's Zach Hester's company, and he has done such a great job, not only just building a great business, but giving back to this community in multiple different ways. They're involved in philanthropies all around town. They love giving back. They love Aggie athletics, and they've taken care of many people in this community that you know. R.C. Slocum buys his cars from there. Dante Hall has gotten his vehicle from there. You've also got Billy. I've got one. So there you go. A lot of people in this area have bought their vehicles there, and they have repeat business because of how good of an experience it is. That's right. You buy your car there, you're like, man, that was easy. And then, you wait your 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 years, whatever it is, and you go back to Caldwell Country Chevrolet because you know they're going to take great care of you, great customer service, and it's just a different environment there. Check out the website, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com, for the deals out there. It's not a far drive, 15 minutes. Brian and Caldwell, a short conversation away, but you're going to see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with Zach and the fellas there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The Brazos Valley Chorale presents Night/Light, a chorale concert on Sunday at 4 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church in Bryant. Tickets are online at bvchorale.org. Tenor Mark McGowan will be the featured artist for the Plas Series recital on Sunday at 2 p.m. at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in downtown Bryant. The concert is free and open to the public. Professor Carol Swain will discuss the impact of the diversity agenda on our campuses and culture from her perspective as a scholar and vice chair of the Presidential 1776 Commission. You're invited to the discussion on Wednesday, March 8th at 6 p.m. in the MSC Gates Ballroom. Help the Brazos Valley Food Bank bring hope to the table. Donate online at bvfb.org. You can hear Aggie baseball on the Zone, Aggie softball on Gospel 97.3 FM, and you can hear both online at radioaggieland.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
A half a ring of Cooper's world-famous regular or jalapeno sausage cooked to perfection cowboy style over mesquite coals, then paired with one of your favorite homemade Cooper sides, beans and barbecue sauce. That's what you get when you ask for Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue's Saw 'em Off Sausage Special, only $9.99. Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M Athletics.
We're here with Jackson Rollo from Rollo Insurance. And Jackson, you guys have been around for a long time. You're the very best at what you do. But I ask you, why Rollo Insurance?
Well, we've been growing recently with over 45 offices in multiple states. But we haven't lost who we are. We're still super focused on being hyper-local and involved in the communities in which you're going to find a Rollo Insurance office. And we offer products like home, auto, life, health, and business insurance from some of the top carriers in our industry.
You name it, they do it. Visit RolloInsurance.com.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Gomez, Aggie Class of 2017, Treasury Management Officer at Bear Bank. I understand the impact of mastering the little things. We pay attention to detail as we work to find the right product or service for your business. From tech tools to manage your cash and payments to financing options for your expansion, we have the right solution for you. At Bear Bank, we believe in genuine banking, and you can bank on it. Visit us at verabank.com. That's VERA bank.com.
Verabank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Gotta be connected with The Zone. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at The Zone 1150. Like us on Facebook at The Zone 1150. Programming alerts, prize updates, scores from games all across Bryan Broadcasting, contest news, and more. Connect with us and always be in the know. Can't remember what team is playing on what station? When are they giving away what? And when is the coach on the show? Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Zone 1150. And be sure to like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. And always be in the know.
Feel it coming in the air. Hear the screams from everywhere. I'm addicted.
All right, we're back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Trisha Ford's with us, and I have to apologize to you. The appalling behavior from Nick Savage a moment ago, who came in here like he was a little temper tantrum,
he was
right?
He was a little irritable with you.
Yeah, just because he asked me a question that I couldn't answer. And then he realized he did ask me the question he said he didn't ask when he came in here. And you had to see it all.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well,
he'll be better next time.
Yeah, well, he's going to tell me about it later for sure. He'll complain. So California, I was talking to you during the break, like successful, even though, like at least in my eyes, like yes, there's a couple losses in there you like to have back. But I think overall the team built from this. Or, I mean, they grew from this experience.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, obviously, in both of those games, the UCLA game and OU game, we clean up some things defensively, and we're in a totally different ball game. And Star Ferguson had a great at bat in the last inning that the left fielder made a diving catch, which would have, if she didn't catch it, would have been a triple. We would have scored 2, and it would have been a very different feel. So, we just didn't get that big hit when we needed it, but picked up 2 wins. And the last game, of course, we were delayed 2 hours, and then the rain came. But it was, we were in a good spot there. So.
Yeah, I was joking with you. Like there was felt like 12, 13, 14, or whatever it was, and then those stats go away.
They just disappear. Yep, into the abyss. Yeah, you just let it go. But
so. As a coach, do you allow yourself to before the season look at oh, this is a tough stretch, and or is it more do you look at just the weekend ahead and take it in parts? Because if you would have looked at your schedule beforehand, that's kind of a scary little stretch.
Yeah, you do a little bit of both, to be honest with you. You look at it beforehand and say, okay, we got to make sure that we're pretty cognizant of where their heads are at and making sure that we're moving in the right direction, because this is going to be a rough patch. And in a travel rough patch, our game times, I mean, there was a lot of things that kind of came up that, were going to be hard for us. And then you obviously, as it gets closer, look at that weekend. And so, right now, I think we're getting better. Honestly, I think we've learned a lot. We've got a lot of youth playing. They're getting a lot of things that they're able to kind of hopefully put in their toolbox to use, later on this year and the years to come. But so far, not too shabby.
You said there's a little trivia that you're involved in. Can you share that with the audience?
Oh, good Lord. It's not one that I love, but yes. Have you ever, or who named the team that out-hits an opponent but got run ruled? And that was us, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
I know. In my 20 years, I haven't out-hit and lost a game by run rule. So, but that just goes to show you, A, how close we are, and B, if we just, clean up some things. I think they had two earned runs that game. So, we're there. The fields are tough there at Palm Springs. It's actually in Cathedral City, but they're slow pitch fields, so they're not very level. And so our players are pretty excited to be back on collegiate fields here moving forward.
Is it for those who weren't able to watch, maybe you were lacking the timely hits because you were getting the hits?
Yeah, absolutely. We just couldn't quite get the one. And we had some hard outs. Trinity Cannon hit a ball that, was 2 feet from going over the fence with runners on. It was just a game of inches. That's what this game is about. And so just continuing to hopefully, get those opportunities and then start to execute those when we need them.
Are you happy with the pitching against UCLA? It looked pretty good to start.
Yeah, Kennedy threw lights out. She was great. And so did Emily Levitt came in as well. So, yeah, pitching's going well. Just got to stay steady with it. But we're able to, work both sides of the plate, change speeds. Those things are going to be very important. And we're getting a little bit more vertical separation versus horizontal, which I think is making them more, successful.
I know we're still early, but have you seen any particular young players okay, I see the growth. There we go.
Yeah. I think, Grayson Coleman's done a great job. She's, been a DP. She's, caught for us. Riley Valentine's had some big innings. Amari Harper offensively has done some good things. But I think, everybody kind of, depending on the game, honestly, they're all kind of contributing. So I do think we're getting better, and I do think that as we're going to be prepared to get through conference.
Could Riley emerge as a potential threat for this team?
I hope so, yeah. But, we'll see. Emily Kennedy is only a sophomore.
Right.
And so you talk about, and so is, Emily Levitt. Both Emily's, E-squared we call them. So both of them, I think are going to be special ball players.
How about this fun week ahead? We got Houston, Sam, and Baylor, right?
Yeah, we're finally at home.
Right.
It's been the first time since opening weekend. So we get a little Wednesday kickoff against Houston, and then we go up to Baylor, who's ranked, I think, in the top 10. I think they're in that area, 10 to 12 maybe. And so we'll play them twice and Sam Houston twice. So we're then off to Arkansas.
And I bet, especially traveling, time zones and whatnot, being back at home with the
Yes.
12th man around and the fans coming out, it's got to make a big difference.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to be in this time zone because we went to Florida and then we went to California. So, yeah, we're excited to be here in Texas. Excited. We're going to have, I would imagine a lot of our fans travel up to Waco this weekend as well. And so it's just nice to be home.
Those kind of road trips, even though they can be grueling, though, great experience for the team to bond, right?
100%. And for them to get to know each other, for us to, have rain delays, be up till 2:00 in the morning, start a game at midnight, just a lot of things that you don't really get to do at home ever. And, you're kind of secluded together. There's not a lot of distraction. So lots of fun things.
Do you know your way around town yet?
I'm directionally challenged, so I don't know. That's going to take me a while. But yeah, I know how to get to my house, to Davis Diamond, and probably Target and H-E-B, and that's about,
that's all you need, right?
Yes.
Tricia, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, when we come back here on TexAgs Radio, we're going to talk to Coach Pat Henry here on the program, get his thoughts on how things are going. But right now, we need caller number 1. We're going to give you a free car wash from Aggieland Express Car Wash in South College Station, off of William D. Fitch in Greens Prairie. Aggie owned and operated with the friendliest staff and a personal touch. They offer a monthly membership, but we'll give the first caller a free car wash right now from Aggieland Express in South College Station. 979-693-1150.
We are going. Are you ready? The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, where champions are made when nobody's watching.
It's time. Here we go! Let's go!
It's back and better than ever. Chili Fest 2023, presented by Miller Lite, is headed to Snook, Texas, March 31st and April 1st for 2 days of live music and the kind of fun you can only have in Aggieland. This year with Saturday performances by The Weathered Souls, Jacob Stelly, Colton Moore and The Clever Few, Shane Smith and the Saints, and headliner Whiskey Myers. Friday performances by Tyler Halverson, Carson Jeffrey, Giovanni and the Hired Guns, Muscadine Bloodline, and headliner Jamie Johnson. Get your tickets online now at chilifest.org, plus camping, team information, and more. Chili Fest 2023, presented by Miller Lite. Miller Brewing Company. Great beer, great responsibility. 21 means 21.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Finding and buying your dream home creates a special kind of excitement, and Lone Star Realty Group is ready to help you experience that excitement. At Lone Star, every client is a priority, and every client is treated like family. They combine cutting-edge technology from Compass with a hometown touch to provide a concierge experience like no other in the Brazos Valley. Whether you're buying or selling, you'll get the help you need from Lone Star Realty Group. Experience, integrity, results. Click LoneStarBCS.com.
Dive in for a fantastic spring break at Moody Gardens. Explore fact and fiction at the new Sharks in Depth exhibit. Come face to face with real sharks, penguins, seals, and more at the Aquarium Pyramid. Check out the strangest and most spectacular in Secrets of the Sea 3D and Shark 4D. Enjoy an afternoon cruise, island golf at one of the top public golf courses in Texas, or relax poolside at the beautiful Moody Gardens Hotel. Save with a value pass in Moody Gardens Hotel and golf packages. Online always, the best deals are at moodygardens.org.
It's Larry from Shelby, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Quentin joining us next from Georgia.
The last time these two teams were on the field, Alabama got body slammed. Game over. Those championship defenses that carried Alabama to all those rings on the Saban, who orchestrated those defenses, reside in Georgia now. So that's the end of it.
It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
Slip inside
Time to do a little track and field here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. This interview with Coach Pat Henry is brought to you by Brazos Running Company, your local Aggie-owned specialty running store. Save 10% in-store when you mention the code TexAgs10 and check out the new location at Century Square. How are you, sir?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, good. I mean, not pleased with what happened this weekend, but it exposes some things that I think everybody needs to understand, and we had a couple unfortunate things happen, but we had some really good things happen too.
Good.
But on the other side of the whole deal, the NIL is just making a huge impact for some, and for others, it's obvious what's going on. It's really obvious.
So because certain states have different rules and they allow them to do things.
That's right. And the coaches have been able to be involved a lot in other states and other places, and not here.
Right.
Until we get that changed in this state, it may stay the way it is. But if you looked at the results, and we finished way down the line in this meet, and this is, if you look typically at our program, this doesn't happen. But it really does show who is and who isn't playing this game. And I have fought this whole thing. I just don't think that it's right. I think it's going to hurt athletics in the end. I think it's something that I wished we could stay away from. But the problem is we're not. That's over. And I've got to start playing the same game everybody else is. And this is my 50th year. We didn't start doing this stuff a long time. This stuff is hard to accept when this isn't what you thought athletics was all about your entire career.
Right.
This is a huge change for coaches who've been in it for a long time, and you see a lot of them. A lot of guys who've been in sport for a long time are just they're done. They're not going to do this.
It changes the size of the rosters, right? Certain schools can have more.
Well, it's not more. It's just something that they have people. There are some schools. I won't mention names, but there are some schools that we have 12.6 scholarships for men. 12.6. An international is going to take one of those. Even to get the paperwork to come to the United States, you have to have full. In 99% of the cases, unless your family has money and can prove they have money. Well, when you look at somebody's roster and they have 15 internationals and they have 42 out of state, there's no way we can do something like that. Not unless you're using NIL. Not unless you're using tuition waivers at your own school. And A&M has no tuition waivers, none. If you're a parent here and you want your child to go to some schools out of state, they can go for the same amount of money an in-state would take. And at this institution, that'd be about $9,000. But if you're from out of state, it's about $29,000.
Wow.
So you can see it's hard for people to understand percentage-based sports. I know that. But an in-state scholarship is about 28%. An out-of-state scholarship is 61%. That disparity is huge if you're given tuition waivers. And we've talked about this before, but this one really, if you look at this really shows what's going on, along with NIL.
Let me ask you, just from a recruiting perspective beyond NIL, just when you're recruiting athletes, how important is it for you to recruit athletes that do multiple sports?
Well, I think athletes that do more than one sport are better athletes. I mean, all around, they're better athletes. And I think they're a little bit more teachable as a result because they have a little bit different experiences. Anytime I get a football player, he has a different toughness about himself, a physical toughness, not necessarily mental toughness,
right,
but a physical toughness. They get beat up, those guys, and they learn to withstand the getting beat up. A kid who isn't involved in a contact sport just doesn't learn that. So they're a different athlete. That's okay. But in some sports, that toughness can help.
You ever recruit somebody who's not necessarily in track and field or cross country, and like you see the potential, or
Sure.
Is that more back in the day?
Well, no. I mean, my javelin coach Juan De La Garza, he'll go and watch some softball games because he'll see a young lady that has a great arm, but it probably isn't going to play softball as she moves into college. But she may have an opportunity to throw a javelin, and he has identified some of those people, and we sign some people every once in a while that are that way.
Let's talk about some of the medals from this past week. And, Lamar seems like comes up every week.
Yeah, Lamar Diston is one of the best high jumpers in the world right now, and it's the second best jump in the history of the institution, and she has the first best one, so she's doing pretty well. She jumped 6'4" 3/4 again, and she tried to jump 2 meters. She jumped 195. 2 meters is World Athletics Championship qualifying performance. That's what you have to be. That's what you have to jump to go to the World Championships as an automatic. She'll go to the World Championships on the jump she already has, but the automatic would be really something she'd like to be able to do, of course.
Yep.
Our male jumper, Perea, jumped 7'4" and won the high jump as well. We had great high jump performances this weekend.
Yeah.
Tiara Robinson got a lot better in the quarter this weekend. Connor Schulman, probably one of our guys that has worked as hard as anybody we have and has made probably as many changes as anybody, and it paid off this weekend. He got third in the conference. He ran 7:70, which is the fastest he's ever run. He's going to run faster all the time. He's young, and he's going to get big. He's big, and he's going to get better all the time.
You did tell me last week that there are these meets sometimes bring the best out of somebody that you haven't seen it all year, and then that shows up.
Yeah. Some can rise to the top on these kinds of occasions, and some people, these all of a sudden, they cower just a little bit every once in a while because just the weight of the competition is very difficult, and if you're not ready between your ears, it can get the best of you.
I understand Bryce Foster was back, coming back from ACL injury.
Pretty amazing that he can come back that fast, and he threw 61 foot plus, and that's the farthest he's thrown, and indoors. He was a happy guy, and it's great that's great for him moving forward, getting back on the football field too, because his power is really good right now, and he's healthy.
And he'll be able to do the outdoor season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go to Eric. Eric, I know you got a couple things for Coach.
Yeah, Coach, you were talking a little bit about after the meet, change being inevitable, and we need a change to be a lot better, perform better at these meets.
Yeah.
Do you think the change in your eyes need to be more of a physical change or more of a mental change?
Well, I think that's split right down. I think there's some that physically have got to get better. Some of that's involved with age, as you know. You know when a young person, when a 19-year-old, 18-year-old is competing against a 26-year-old, 25-year-old, that's a different competition. Eric, you're in those exact events where age is such a dictator. But people have got to work harder. They got to be more dedicated on and off the track to be as successful as some of them want to be.
And this weekend was a little bit crazy when you look at the championship racing. A lot of the relays, a lot of people dropping the batons, getting shoved around. Was there anything that was surprising to you that you maybe hadn't seen in other SEC meets? There was something different about this one.
Well, you just mentioned both of them. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and I've never seen as many drop batons or push downs. This was a very physical meet all of a sudden, especially at the break point of the mile relays where you have to break and get control of the race. A number of people just completely lost it at that point. And yeah, I mean, we stumbled around on the first one. We kept our feet. Eric did, but one went down right there, and then another one pulled his hamstring. But Eric did a good job of keeping us in the meet. We didn't run very fast. as a result of that, but we scored, and that was a good thing. Our women, I mean, the best relays in the country, the best schools, best relay teams in the country are in the SEC. And going into the last lap of the anchor leg, we got the baton knocked out from behind. We were winning. Got knocked out of her hand. It was an accident, but it got knocked out of her hand, so we were unable to finish the race. So it was an odd situation this year. Yeah.
So you got the NCAAs coming up.
Yep.
Just tell me a little bit about what to expect from Ahmad Robinson, Tiara Robinson Jones, a bunch of names out there.
Yeah, Ahmad got a little bit hurt at the SEC meet, and so we'll see what happens with him moving forward. He hurt a hamstring about 30 meters into the quarter, but we'll see if we can get him healthy. Both relays advanced. Both mile relays advanced. 4x4s advanced. Both our high jumpers advanced. We got 3 in the open quarter, so we advanced. We advanced a good group. I've seen this meet won with 3 athletes making 2 performances apiece and winning the championship. So numbers are not the don't dictate sometimes this meet. It's great performances that dictate the national championship. Yeah.
So we're transitioning to outdoor now. So how did the indoor help you set up for a positive season?
Well, most of it, we didn't. Of course, we don't have an indoor facility right now, so we missed a lot of training. Not missed it, but it was just not the same because it was just so cold on some days. You just can't. It's hard to get in some work when it's that cold. But we did. It's just a little bit different. Our transition to outdoor, the indoor teaches you a lot about yourself. Where you are at this time of year is when you have a championship like this and you get to be in that group of 27 that compete. It really does show where you are right now. That doesn't determine where you're going to be in June.
Right.
So moving forward, it's using indoor to help you to bounce forward. Yeah.
Coach Henry, we appreciate it, sir.
Yep. Ability to bounce back is probably one of the skills you try to teach everybody, and we're in that mode right now. And you got to bounce back from failure, and we'll see how this group responds.
I expect positive things, sir.
I think so.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
We appreciate that, and thank you to Brazos Running Company, your local Aggie-owned specialty running store. Save 10% in store when you mention the code TexAgs10. Check out the new location at Century Square, an open segment. When we come back, the A&B text line is open. The hotline is open, 979-693-1150. It's TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone, brought to you by Paisano's Italian Pizzeria. Go see them at their new location on Highway 6 in Rock Prairie by Scott and White. Always fresh, never frozen. Paisano's Italian Pizzeria. Support the Greens on the Greens. Wreaths Across America Brazos Valley's second annual fundraiser. Saturday, March 17th from 6 to 8 at Big Shots Golf. Find Brazos Valley Wreaths Across America on Facebook for more information. Friends of Chamber Music presents German virtuoso organist Christian Schmidt in a free concert at A&M United Methodist Church on Tuesday, March 21st at 7 p.m. Brazos County Master Gardener's Spring Plant Sale is Saturday, March 25th from 8 to 11 a.m. at the Brazos County Extension Office. Bring your wagon and load up. You're invited to Living History Weekend at the Museum of the American GI, March 25th and 26th. Visit AmericanGIMuseum.org for more information. Community Calendar is brought to you by Paisano's Italian Pizzeria. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Need a place to call home? Lone Star Realty Group has a wide selection of properties to choose from. Looking for local experienced real estate professionals to work with? Well, Lone Star Realty has served the Brazos Valley for over 17 years. Want to work with a local company backed by Compass? The largest, most innovative independent brokerage in America? Lone Star Realty, a strong local brand with instant recognition, wants to meet you. Visit LoneStarBCS.com. Lone Star Realty Group. Experience, integrity, results.
Maroon U is your ultimate stop for brand name apparel, gifts, and accessories for the entire family. From Columbia, 47 brand, Yeti, Dooney & Burke, and Adidas, we're able to outfit you for every occasion. Visit Maroon U and our family of companies on Holloman Drive in College Station to shop the latest in brand name Aggie merchandise. Shop Maroon U today, voted best in the Brazos' best gift shop since 2016. Maroon never looked so good with Maroon U.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Have you registered today for your chance to win a pair of tickets to go see the Turnpike Troubadours in concert at the Houston Rodeo? Go to zone1150.com, go every day, and register till March 6th, and you can win a pair of tickets to go see the Turnpike Troubadours thanks to Grahowski Sausage. Aggie-owned and operated. Go visit them in downtown Bremond. Make sure, register each day at zone1150.com.
Love is a burning thing.
TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got some text messages about the interview with Jason Carter, softball, track, you name it. And, of course, some of the conversations we were having in the 8 o'clock hour. Programming update for the 10 o'clock hour. We've got, let's see, John Puglisi at 10:05. Tomas has got highlights from the weekend. Yeah, there were some highlights. And Tom Hart will be joining us as well. My understanding is my brother Alex and his wife Tiff and Mason, who hopefully is going to be at A&M in the fall, are visiting campus as we speak, making their drive down here in town. So looking forward to that. I got some personal stuff I had to say on the air there just to give a little shout-out to the fam. All right, let's hey, Nick, are we okay?
I'm still a little upset with how you and OB made me look this morning, but to be fair, I haven't gone back and listened to what I said because I might have just not articulated my question correctly.
First off, you should be able to take a little ribbing from time to time. That's the A part. The B part, you certainly seemed a little bit in your feelings in front of Coach Ford. When you walked out.
I just was getting a second opinion.
Yeah.
She was on my side, to be fair.
No, she was not. Eric, you heard her. She was not on his side.
No, she was on your side.
She was on my side of the building. Nick, here's the thing. I'm sorry that you phrased things poorly in in your one hit of the show. I'm sorry that you weren't mentally prepared for it. I'm sorry that we gave you a hard time. You deserve better than that.
What am I, like 6 months into this gig now? It was bound to happen at some point. So I guess I'm happy I got it out of the way. Now we can just move forward.
How many strikes do you think are going to be thrown in tonight's game?
I don't know. I think I'm going to go to the game, so I'll keep track for you.
Yeah, I just want you to give me a number.
I'll keep track of the ejections, too, just in case someone gets thrown out for arguing the pitch clock.
Please do. Let's go back to Eric Casares at the News and Social Center. I know we got some text messages to get into.
Old Ag from the 903. Can we just get Jason Carter back here as a wide receiver running back coach? Amazing.
Yeah, it was fun to talk to him. And you could hear in his voice how, for him, it is really about getting the best for his kids, the kids that he touches, right? Like, for him, it's not about, his career. It's about impacting the youth's lives and making this a better place. And you could hear that when he was talking. And I think he's got a lot of experience he can draw upon because he is the exact example. My kids have gone through some of the things he's talking about where a coach wants you in a different position, and you got to do what's right for the team. You got to do what's right for the situation there and get on the field, whatever you got to do to get on the field, and he did that while at Texas A&M. So I agree. He was a fun conversation, passionate about his Aggie sports and passionate about the kids that he is coaching. Eric?
Randy and Hearn, what did Coach Ford tell the team after bases loaded and no outs and not score anything against Oklahoma?
Yeah, don't know. Because she's not here anymore. I wish we would have asked that question there. But I will say this. She doesn't like because we were talking before the segment, she doesn't like that they out-hit Oklahoma but lost and run ruled. But there's something there, right? They were a play or two away from that feeling different. And I know that doesn't always feel great to hear that out loud. but a play or two can change the whole way you look at that entire thing. Eric?
One more. David Edmond, the 2020 screw job of the playoff committee hurts so much more when the entire country and the committee got behind the absolute fraud that was TCU. They put in a one-loss Big 12, but wouldn't put in a one-loss All-SEC scheduled team. It's not a coincidence. It is on purpose.
Oh, my God. All right, we need to change his name again to Negative Dave. Why do you got to bring up TCU? Every time you bring up TCU, you're penalized from being on the show.
They deserved it, though. They deserved to be in.
I don't even know why we talk about it. Like, whatever, like... They're not the same season. It's not like they picked TCU. Use that same anger towards Ohio State or Notre Dame that got in to the playoff. Like, look, I think TCU deserved where they went. Did I think they were going to lose? I did. It happened. Cincinnati, I thought they were going to lose. They deserved to go last year, the year prior. Like that, it just like there's bone to pick with TCU. Like, I'm sorry, they didn't go your way. Like, gosh, it's like you asked a bad question on the radio and you're in your feelings, Dave. At the end of the day, look, my whole thing was that I believe the narrative that was out there about A&M sticks with those who aren't like plugged in, right? Like when I'm talking to this group this weekend, and they're like, they're thinking Jimbo hasn't done anything at A&M. I'm like, dude, they went 9-1. He's like, yeah, but it was 2020. Yo, so did the season count? Do the Lakers, do the Dodgers, ask Richard, do the Dodgers get to count that as a championship? Do the Lakers get to count that does Alabama get to count that as a championship? If the answer is Baylor too, right? Was that the Baylor year? I don't remember. Do they all get to count the championship? No.
Baylor was in, are we talking about NCAA?
Yeah.
That was 2021.
2021, because they had to cancel the season.
Yeah. No, that counted.
Yeah,
for sure.
They all count.
Yeah.
If you play the game, they count. So they count. But it was a 9-1. It was COVID. They played 10 SEC games. They lost one game early in the season to Alabama, and then they ran the table. So whatever, but people want to believe what they hear, and that's why it's important for us to make sure we fight the good fight and present the facts and not always bring up TCU on the show. All right, on the program, I mentioned John Puglisi. He's going to be with us. So tonight's a big game. Ole Miss is a team you should beat. How do you come back from a loss? They've done it several times. Not several. They've had 2 losses prior to the Mississippi State loss, and they came back with big-time victories. You're taking on a team that you should beat, who had a coaching change just a week ago. They played one of their best games of the season. In the aftermath of that, can you right the ship? You beat them and set up a big-time matchup against Alabama? I think so. We'll talk about that with John Puglisi next on TexAgs Radio.
You can hang out with me, Louis Bellina, weekdays 11 to 2, presented by B&B Automotive and Superior Auto Service. 2 remarkable businesses, 1 great family. Sure, we talk a lot of maroon and white. We love our Aggie sports. Plus, we go national with Joe Sheehan in New York and Nashville with Braden and Mitch. And we got our local guys like